Hello Year 10. Today we're going to be looking at calculating with surds. Now if you recall, we worked with surds earlier this year, and what we did, we did some simplifying of surds. So something like this. So I'm going to simplify following. So if we do square root of 12, what we're looking for is a square number that goes into 12. So this could be equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, because 4 times 3 gives me 12. Square root of 4 is 2, so that gives me 2 root 3. We can look at the square root of 20. It's going to be equal to, looking for a square number again that goes into 20, it's going to be the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. 4 times 5 is 20, and that's going to give me 2 root 5. Here's one for you to do. You can press pause and then have a go. Square root of 32. So press pause, have a go at that. Square root of 32 can be broken down to the square root of 16 times the square root of 2. Square root of 16 is 4, so it's going to give me 4 square root of 2. We also looked at multiplying surds. So in order to multiply surds, we could have, say, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, which is going to be the square root of 4. And the square root of 4, as you know, is 2. We looked at, say, square root of 2 times the square root of 3. That's going to give me 2 times 3 is 6, so square root of 6. And that's the end of that. Then I can't simplify any further. If I have something like this, though, square root of 2 times the square root of 8, what's that going to be equal to? Square root of 16. What's the square root of 16? It's 4. So we're going to look at calculating with surds, but first we're going to use as an example calculating expanding brackets with algebra. So if I give you 3 brackets y add 2, if I expand that out, 3 times y, it's going to give me 3y, and then 3 times 2, it's going to give me 6. If we look at the slightly more challenging question, if I have 4y squared brackets 2y plus 3, and in the same vein, first I'll look at 4y squared times 2y, and then 4y squared times 3. Go back to below. 4y squared times 2y is going to give me, do the numbers first, 8y cubed, and then 4y squared times 3 is going to give me plus 12y squared. So what I want you to do now is to complete the following questions as a starter. So I'm going to put them up and then press pause and work on the calculations. Okay, so attempt the odd questions, and so press pause, attempt the odd questions, and you're away. Okay, so now we carry on with expanding double brackets. A bit more practice. Can you recall how to expand this? X plus 3 times x plus 4. So first, everything in these brackets is going to multiply everything in these brackets here. So we start with x, and we say x multiplied by everything here, so x times x in the first instance, and then x times 4 in the second instance. That's going to give us, then x times x gives us x squared, and then x times 4 gives us 4x. And then we look at the 3, and the 3 then also has to multiply everything in the other brackets. So 3 has got to multiply the x here. And then 3 is also got to multiply the 4. Three times x gives us 3x. And 3 times 4 gives us 12. Now, we've got two like terms in the middle. So we've got x squared plus 7x plus 12. So we've got another one. So if we have t plus 5 and say t minus 2, and the same thing again, we use t first here to multiply everything in the second bracket. So we're looking at t times t first, and then t times minus 2. So be careful of the negative there. It's what always trips people up. T times t is going to give us t squared, and then t times minus 2 gives us minus 2t. And then we look at the 5 then and multiply everything in the next pair of brackets. Green, and we got 5 times t gives 5t, and then we got 5 times minus 2. So as we say, 5 times t gives us plus 5t, positive 5t, and then 5 times minus 2 gives us minus 10. And in the middle, we've got two like terms. Be careful of the sign again. It's going to be equal to t squared minus 2t plus 5t gives us plus 3t, and then minus 10. So a bit more practice for you then. Okay, some questions for you. This time you can attempt the even questions, just 9 of them for you. Good luck. Press pause and work through those. Okay, so we're now going to use those two techniques of expanding brackets to work with surds. And we've got this one here, square root of 3 outside the brackets times 2 minus root 3. So everything outside the brackets, I'm going to multiply it by everything inside the brackets. So we've got, first of all, root 3 is going to multiply the 2, and then the root 3 is going to multiply the root 3 again. Don't forget there's a negative sign there. Just change the pen back. So root 3 times 2 is going to give us 2 root 3. And then root 3 times root 3, we just write it here as root 3 times root 3. We don't tend to write this out in full. Root 3 times root 3 is going to give us root 9, and the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3, so that's 2 root 3 minus 3. What we do write generally is the following. In reality, with this question, what we would tend to write, we've got root 3 there times 2, so that's 2 root 3. And then we've got root 3 times root 3, which is root of 9, and the square root of 9 is 3, so we tend to just write it straightforward as 3. Let's try another one, a bit more challenging. We've got 3 root 2, brackets 5 minus 2 root 8. So as before, we're expanding the brackets. So everything outside the brackets times everything in the brackets. So 3 root 2 first off times 5, and then 3 root 2 times minus 2 root 8. Always be careful with the negative term. So we've got 3 root 2 times 5. So do the numbers first, outside the surd. 3 times 5 is 15, so that gives us 15 square root of 2. Can't simplify that any further. And then we've got 3 root 2 times 2 root 8. So we do the numbers on the outside first. 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 8 is 16, so that's going to give us the square root of 16. Now I know the square root of 16 is 4, so I can say 15 root 2 minus 6 times 4, which is 20. And then we'll try a double bracket. So if you do square root of 3 plus 5, and we'll do the same again, square root of 3 and 5. So I've got root 3 times root 3, which is root of 9, which is just 3. So that's root 3 times root 3. And then the root 3 has got to multiply with 5 as well. It gives me 5 root 3. And then I've got 5 times root 3 again. So 5 root 3, another 5 root 3. And then I've got 5 times 5, which is 25. So that gives me 3 plus 25. Because they're both numbers, so that gives me 28. And I've got 5 root 3 plus 5 root 3. So that's 2 lots of 5 root 3, 10 root 3. So those are a few examples for you. Some questions on for you to do now. Okay, this time I want you to attempt all questions. So press pause and have a go. Now here we have a typical exam question. Right angle triangle ABC. The side BC is the square root of 6, and the side AC is the square root of 18. Calculate the length of AB. Give your answer in third form. So, any ideas? How would you solve this right angle triangle question? So right angle triangle is going to be trig or Pythagoras. We've got two sides and we're looking for the long side, hypotenuse. So this one is a trig Pythagoras question. So we could say that AB squared is equal to the sum of the other two sides squared. So BC squared plus AC squared. BC is square root of 6, so it's going to be square root of 6 squared plus the square root of 18 squared. Now the square root of 6 squared is root 6 times root 6, square root of 36, which is 6. So when we're multiplying surds with the same surd, then we get the same number. And likewise, square root of 18 times the square root of 18 is going to give us, 18. 6 plus 18 is going to give us 24. Can we simplify? So that's AB squared. To get AB, let's find the square root of 24. When I simplify that, is there a square number that goes into 24? I think I gave it away there. Square root of 4 times the square root of 6. That gives us 2 square root of 6 centimeters. And the final example for today. Calculate the area of a square with a side of 2 plus root 3 centimeters and give your answer in the form of a plus b root 3. So if it's a square of side 2 plus root 3. That means that's going to be 2 plus root 3, and that side's going to be 2 plus root 3. So the area is going to be equal to 2 plus root 3 times 2 plus root 3. Or 2 plus root 3 squared. So expanding then, 2 times 2 gives me 4. 2 times root 3 gives me 2 root 3. And then taking the root 3 times 2, that gives me 2 root 3 again. And root 3 times root 3. Remember what we said? Same root multiplied by each other. It's root 9, so it gives us 3. You can add the numbers. 4 add 3. 4 add 3 is going to give me 7. I can add the square roots. 2 root 3 plus another 2 root 3. That's going to be 4 root 3. And the answers are centimeters. Okay, and a few questions for you. So we finish off with some typical exam questions. Off you go. When you're finished, take your photos or videos and then upload them back onto Teams. Good luck.